Rachel, have you seen Soups around here?
No.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Soups!
Yeah?
Yep. Rachel.
Yeah, I was discussing this with one of my friends recently. Non-comic book friend, too. Just someone that, spends time on social media, knows I'm into the stuff. I had no idea who James Gunn was. Like, absolute no idea. So I explained the whole career arc, how James Gunn worked under Zack Snyder, Dawn of the Dead. But in a way, in my view, this Superman movie, it was coming through as James Gunn having to prove himself, finally. Which is weird, and just overall, because to me, James Gunn proved himself with the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Another great Marvel Cinematic Universe trilogy. You guys know I love the Iron Man trilogy. I love the Captain America one. I love the Thor. Even Thor: Dark World, guys. So I'm all in. I like that stuff. But no, he was asking me, like, why is James Gunn, you see more of James Gunn than you do the actors, you see more James Gunn than you see of the characters, we all know too much about the movie, but this guy with the white hair is all over the Superman movie. He thought, here's the crazy thing, he thought it was maybe like a relative or something of the creators of Superman. I said, no, that's the guy making the movie. I wanted to open this little sit down with that TikTok skit that I found. Because even to me, it seems surreal that James Gunn is putting himself in front of Superman the way that he is. That if it confuses me, I know it's befuddling the commentators, the non-YouTubers, the people that don't follow it, the people that have no... But here's the wild thing. There's people out there that have no vested interest at all in who or what James Gunn is. They want a good movie. They want to be able to wake up one day, get the family, spend $250 on movie tickets, another $300 on popcorn, collectible popcorn buckets, and another $48 on candy to sit down with a family of four and just catch a nice, cool, random superhero movie that's technically every single Superman movie that gets released is the most important comic book movie of all time. But to me, in my view, the Superman character is fading in a very disturbing way, and that's going to be a subject of an upcoming video. But seeing, sometimes when you see things in the sphere that we're in, through another person's eyes, it raises questions and it raises alarms. I will always go back to it, to where one of my friends, he couldn't fathom why this is during the BVS, the Zack Snyder Snyderverse. He couldn't fathom why Batman would fight Superman, and I had to explain it to him. I'm like, there's all kinds of good reasons, and there's moments that happen in animation and happens in comics, and it's a well that DC very often goes to. So why not? Why not just have that as a movie? And then we kind of see a lot of the reaction. We see the second week, the third week of that movie, and we get it. We get how the audience was receiving the movie. Just, for me, I know the context, I don't need it explained, but the general audience almost rejected the notion of BVS, even though I love BVS. I love that extended cut. James Gunn not putting the actors and the characters and the story and the history of Superman in front of all of it says something very odd to me. Do I want to sit down and watch a James Gunn Superman movie? or do I want to sit down and watch Superman? I think this is a very clear line that the audience is going to fall one side or the other on. I think at this point the movie's going to do very well. It looks like it has decent word of mouth, but I do feel like there's a general sense of curiosity around this movie, and I think that's what's going to drive it. I also think that same level of curiosity is going to drive Fantastic Four. Now, what happens in weeks 2, 3, and 4 is solely dependent on the quality of the movie. No one's going to go to Superman week 2 because it's a James Gunn movie. People are going to go to Superman week 2 because they either wanted to see it again, they heard good things, and they're going to the theater. Like, those are your scenarios. I think that's the psychology of the audience in this case. But I don't know, AKAPADers, how do you feel? How how do you feel about this James Gunn insertion in everything Superman? I think it's a little bit too much, honestly. I don't think it fits. I'd rather just see more about the characters, more about the story, more about the history of all of it. Get me hyped up in that way. I rarely do I want to see a director of a movie anyway. I don't care what they look like. I really don't.